Okay, now I'm going to refresh this. I always have all this weird stuff on the beginning of our live videos. Oh, yeah, there we are. All right. Well, we'll just hang out
All
here for a
right.
minute till we get
Okay.
folks showing up. And I will open up the. How do I do that? I'm going to try to get the comments up. Okay. Well, I don't have to watch us. And, okay, we've got a person here. All right. Shall we do it, ma'am?
Yeah, let's go. Hello, groomers. Hey, Susie, what's up this week?
Hello, groomers. Welcome to episode 248, live 13 of the GroomPod, recorded on March 31st, 2020, in Snohomish, Washington, and Tucson, Arizona. Both of us sequestered. This podcast, we're going to talk about. Actually, we're going to do a game show. And if we have time, we will be talking about carding and possibly cocamito propabutane in earwash, maybe. Anyway,
Sure.
cool, good. Okay, so we are on total shutdown. I've been in the house for a while, but luckily I have been training every single winter for this opportunity because, we get snowed in for weeks at a time. And I'm used to being stuck here. The beauty is I can actually go to the store. I mean, we don't usually have that luxury, nor do we usually have power. So it's twofold better than normal. So they've shut you
Yeah.
guys down, haven't they?
Well, yeah, we got just when I really was working the loophole for businesses, we got the stay at home edict from the governor. And that makes it uh, out of integrity for customers to come to me. So I think I'm going to have to shut down and maybe just do a couple. I'm going to do the bearded collie that comes in every 2 weeks because to go an extra 2 weeks is just suicide. And I'll probably do the Westie for the demo for the virtual trade show. And we may quit there. We'll see. But the pressure is on to stay at home, and I don't mind staying at home. I'm getting a little more worried. I am such a high risk person myself.
Well, I don't know if
Uh,
they are letting the whole world know about this, but here in Washington State, where we have been basically asked to stay home for over a month and are looking at yet another month of staying at home, we have reduced our hospitalizations by 20% this last week. So 20% less hospitalizations this week over the week prior. And it had done nothing but go up until then. So we've actually had quite a drop. That only here, and I'm sure they're not really telling anybody because they don't want people to think that they're in the clear by any means. But we are seeing positive effects with distancing, whatever kind of
uh,
distancing you want to call it, your personal bubble, so following the virus rules, social distancing or physical distancing. They're changing the way they talk about it all the time, but all we know here is in the Seattle area is it's working, and that's great.
oh God, it's such an adventure. If it just wasn't so fucking scary,
Well,
if
when
it
your
wasn't
best
so
friend,
life or death.
yes, yeah, it's a tough one for sure. So we what went on with you this week other than staying home? Because you only just got
Well,
that order. You actually worked this week. I've been sitting here
yeah,
twiddling my thumbs.
actually, it was the stay at home actually only went into effect yesterday. So I had kind of a partial. We worked 2 days, um, and I'm able to pay this month's rent, and I paid this month's mortgage, but I'm going to have to further reduce, and I'm scared about what's going to happen next month. But I'm getting more scared of acquiring the virus. And so I am traveling to the shop because here's where my internet is. And I don't want to have new internet at home until I can relocate my desk space to a more safe, healthier room instead of that pit of black mold uh, that I've been working in for a year.
Well, I did one dog last week because I deemed it medically necessary. And if I was going to be questioned, I absolutely could explain why I did that dog. This is a lady, it's the Chow Australian Shepherd mix. And
Right.
the lady is, I don't know, somewhere between you and me in age, and she has an adult developmentally disabled brother that she takes care of, and they cannot wash this dog, and occasionally he gets poop on his butt, and I couldn't see them staying in their tiny apartment with a big dog with poop on its butt and having that be a hazard. And yeah, I felt it was borderline whether I should have gone out or not, but I did it, and we didn't have any contact. She just tied the dog up, and I took the dog and I sprayed everything down with alcohol. But otherwise, I've been baking. I may very well be 300 pounds by the time this is over. That's the bad thing.
You know, speaking of cuckabutt, um, what I want to do, and if I do completely shut down here, I'm going to have the time to do it, is to start. Even if I can't be videotaping tips for home grooming, I can post it on my blog with on the Groom blog, and that poop butt. One thing you can do at home that it can really help you clean that up is cornstarch.
Oh,
Just you know, layer the area with cornstarch and let it soak in for maybe 10 or 20 minutes, and then start brushing it out. It will dry it up and allow you to kind of slip it out with a brush or a comb.
well, my
Um,
emergency suggestion to them, just in case I really wasn't going to go over there, even though I figured if I glove up, I'm pretty safe. It's, we don't have
mhm,
any contact, but was to go down to the feed store, which is just a little bit down the street from their house, and get some Cowboy Magic because that
mhm.
works pretty well. And I thought they could spray that back there and kind of comb brush that through. He'll let her do that. He's just too big for them to pick up and put in their bathtub and wrestle with. And it would just be too much for them by far. So,
Right. Oh yeah, no, I understand. Yeah.
yeah. So I did do
Well,
that.
I kind of like the cornstarch. I kind of like my idea better than yours.
Well, they didn't do it. So I'll pass it
So
along.
yeah, it dries it up.
Yeah,
I
that's
I
nice.
learned this. This is one of the things that I did with Arturo, the paralyzed borzoi. Um, and it was very helpful. I mean, that's when I kind of reconnected with positive aspects of cornstarch. Was keeping that paralyzed, incontinent dog cleaned.
Okay.
That's when having a firm stool was really important.
I could see that. Well, they've made some rulings about sole proprietors and single ownership LLCs and unemployment in a lot of the states, which I think is going to be very helpful for a lot of people. There's also small
Mhm.
business association loans that you can get, but I want to warn people that paying back a small business loan can be a challenge. And even though they appear to be forgiving some of those loans, they're not forgiving all the loans. And don't bite off more than you can chew. Try to find better ways to do it than taking out loans if you can.
Yeah, I just took out a self. I'm sitting there on $2,000 that I'm afraid to spend.
Yeah,
So
I can see that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So so much to consider and so much to do and so much to be creative. But I like the idea of posting some stuff on my blog, just like, oh yeah, everybody, you might notice on the our discussion group, Susie just posted a video I did yesterday of trimming around the bearded collie eyes. I did not undertake to videotape the entire, Lord help me, grooming of the bearded collie. But this is such a little point. I did a nice little 8.5 minute video of trimming around the eyes to give a really natural, nice expression to the bearded collie, because pet home grooming of the bearded collie can be really ugly.
I bet. I'm not too worried about my guys. Actually, I'm not too worried about my business at all. Everybody will be there waiting for me, even if it's 2 months. It's fine. But I
Well,
know that a lot
yeah.
of people are on a much finer shoestring than that. And I just feel for everybody. And I wanted to send my compassion out to all you guys who are struggling. And hopefully, you are finding some positive ways to get through your day, because there's a lot of day to get
Yeah.
through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hey, we've got something really fun to do this week. We're going to do a game show, and I think we're going to go ahead and get started. What do you say, Barbara?
I'm ready when you are.
Okay. Well, this game show is called Groom Those Ears, ladies and gentlemen. We're so happy to have you today with us on Groom Those Ears. This is a game show where we'll be asking the all important question: how do you groom those ears? This group The group we're going to focus on today is the Terrier group. Here's how we play the game. I'll pick a breed from the Terrier group, or I'll take suggestions from the group over here. Oh, look, there's all these comments, and I'm missing them all again. Or I'll take suggestions from the group, and we will ask Barbara, how does she trim those Terrier ears? For instance, Barbara, tell me how to trim an Airedale's ears.
Well, a good way is a 10 blade all over, outside and inside, and then carefully edge the ears with scissors.
Yes. Okay, well, that's a win. So I'm using Dog Grooming Simplified by Jody Murphy.
Yeah,
Also,
Jody.
yay, I also have notes from the grooming table. So I've got double references just to double check Barbara's grooming. And let's start the game, ladies and gentlemen. Oh,
Okay.
Brandy's here. Hi, Brandy. She's replacing her water tank in her mobile van, and yeah,
Great.
yeah, I know, what a project. Okay, here comes
Good
a.
luck.
I'm going to throw you a softball, Barbara. Are
Okay.
you ready? Tell me how to do Westie ears.
Well, Westie ears are clipped very short on the tips. That would just be the top fourth of the ear. And on the back of the ear, it's soft and velvety. So you don't want to clean it out with a 10 blade, but you might want to use like a 4 or a 5 blade on the end of on the outside back of the ears. And
Okay,
you
well,
leave it. Yeah.
okay. So
What?
when you're saying that the soft velvety part on the inside of the ears or the back side of the
No,
ear?
the back side of the ear.
Okay, so
Yeah.
one quarter shaved down with a 10
Yeah.
blade with a soft
Mm,
back of the ear.
right. The soft back of the ear can be with um, something longer than a 10 blade. You don't want it to look shaved back there, but you want it to be close and velvety.
All right,
So you do
is
want to attend to it, right? Okay.
is I had a question and now I lost it. Never mind.
Well, I had, let me just make another comment. Let me make
Okay.
another comment. The Since the top of the Westie crown should be like to the point where the tipping begins, where to the same point where you've dipped down for your pet Westie, that you're not teasing the hair up to be that full, you might want to come down a little more and take more like a third, even a half of that ear off, because otherwise it looks like they're wearing some kind of a scarf behind their head.
All right.
But if you want to keep that circle but reduce the circle around the head, you could take a little bit more off the ear so that the top of the crown meets where you've clipped.
Okay, I'll give you a point on that one. You got that right. Okay, so not that I expect you to get any wrong because I don't.
No, I can get. Hey, I'm only human.
Well, that's true. Okay,
Believe it.
all right. Since we did the Westie, let's do the Cairn Terrier. Let's see if you can tell us the difference. By the way, everyone thinks well, everyone they're loving your hair.
Oh, thank you, everybody.
Yeah,
It's my favorite new hair.
it's good hair. I like the hair. Okay, so Cairn Terrier ears.
Okay, Cairn Terrier ears are similar to Westie ears, but um, they're more revealed. They're slightly more revealed. Okay, so you would probably tip down, clip the inside of the ear 1/3 of the way down, and in the back of the ear, I'm going to say they should be kind of soft and velvety. You don't want to have bushiness behind the ears of either one of those breeds.
Okay. Here in notes from the grooming table, it says even go down halfway. So way more exposed than the West ear.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Very interesting. I give you another point on that one. I am not keeping score. Full disclosure. All right. So since we're doing little short squatty terriers, how about the Scotty?
Okay, the Scotty ears are very intricate, actually. So the Scotty ears, the back 2/3 is very clean, and the back edge is very clean, but you leave a tuft on about 1/3 of the front of the ear that forms the tuft. And what I do is fold the ear in half and cut that to be even. So that both sides are even. You really do not want a little hula skirt around your Scotty ears. And believe me, I've seen that. I had a Scotty and a neighbor that was at the end of my block. She had a yard, and the Scotty would come out, and oh my God, I wanted to redo that Scotty so much. But she was just like totally happy with the little hula skirt on the ears and the bigger hula skirt around the body. It
So
was
when you're
like,
talking
it was
about making it even, you mean like it doesn't extend out beyond the shape of the ear?
right, right. You don't want anything sticking out behind the back edge of that the outside edge. Let's call it the outside and the inside. You don't want anything sticking beyond the outside of that ear. It is visible. The edge is visible.
Okay, that's another point for you. Here comes an easy one. Sky Terrier.
God, I you might be stumping me.
Cool.
I'm gonna. Yeah, I haven't seen a Sky Terrier or a shoot. I'm just gonna say that they're left full.
They are left full. I was gonna go over here to the Facebook watchers and ask if anybody over there knew, but I'm so impatient
Uh,
I just
you
flew
just
past that.
yeah. See, you got to give the old birdie brain time to turn around a little bit and come up with an idea.
Yes, yeah. Okay.
It's still working. The bird brain is still working, but it's a little bit slower.
Okay.
Next.
Yorkshire Terrier.
Oh, that's another tipped ear. And that's another tipping that can kind of vary with how you're grooming the ear, how you're grooming the head and the face. Um, if you're going to groom in a little westy look, that's common, right? That's kind of a common way to kind of make a round head and have little ear tips. You want to tip those ears. What do you do if the ears are dropped?
Yeah,
As
what
we
do you
see
do?
in yeah, well, you can take your pick. You can take your pick. You need to, like mostly, I would just trim those ears and then occasionally um, take them down with like a 5 blade.
Okay. How about soft coat Wheaten Terrier?
Oh, good one. Because this one is one of the most often improperly groomed ears. So the deal is you trim from where the ears fold. From where the ears fold to the end of the ear, you clip off. But you leave and blend into the head crest the part of the ear where the fold is across the top of the head. Am I explaining that correctly?
Well, it's one of the harder
Do,
ones to explain.
yeah, it's one of the harder ones to explain, but you don't clip all the way to the base of the skull. You do not clip all the way to the base of the skull. You clip from where you can just, you can see where it's folding, and you can actually kind of fold it with your fingers and see even better, and then trim that down to the end of the ear. So the bottom is short and clipped, and the base of the ear is left blended into the top of the head.
What happens underneath?
Underneath,
10 blade clean out the inside of the ear?
yeah,
Yeah.
I usually do clean up side of the ear.
Okay.
And next,
Next, Carrie Blue.
oh, 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 I'm gonna say clean ears.
I think they are clean ears. I'm just getting there. I think this is it. Let me
I see.
verify.
They are clean ears. I would say, in contrast to the Wheaten Terrier, the Kerry Blue Terrier ears are clipped to the base of the skull.
Okay. Boy,
See
it's
if I'm
almost
right.
easier to look them up on Google than it is to dig through these books. Hang on. Okay.
But I
Yep.
trust Jody Murphy's book so much.
I know, but she doesn't have all the terriers in there. She has
Oh,
only terrier heads that are, she the way she has the book grouped, it's a little bit different. So I'm not finding. Well, she's got some of them. Let's see what she says.
well, and there's a whole bunch of them that are similar. The long-legged terriers, like
Yeah.
Wire Fox Terrier, Irish Terrier, Welsh Terrier. All of those long-legged terriers, they pretty much have um, clean ears inside and out. Schnauzer,
Right.
so that kind of groups together.
Okay. I got one. Glen of Imal.
Okay,
Glen of Imal.
aha. So Glen of Emal, the ears are clipped, but only to look naturally short. So you do see the edge of the ear, but it's not a shaved look ever. So it's just either clippered or scissored, thinning scissors. I don't like to use thinning scissors around the ears because it's really easy to cut into the flesh of an ear, and holy guacamole, that's a bleeding volcano.
Yeah.
Have you
Okay.
ever done that?
Yes, I
It's
have.
almost as bad as cutting a tongue. I mean, they just bleed and bleed. Okay,
Ew.
so what does your book say? What does the book say?
I got distracted.
Glen of Emal.
Yeah, okay. That's right. Oh, here we go.
You see the
It
ears.
is.
They're the top of the crown there kind of covers the base of the ear
It is,
on
but
the
they're
top of the
definitely
head.
shaved.
But they're
Probably,
definitely,
yeah,
yeah,
probably with a 5 or a 4.
looks like a 5. I usually use a 5.
Let's see what she doesn't
That
really.
I really worked on my Glen of Emal Terrier because unexpectedly we had a few in town
I
here in
remembered
Tucson.
that.
Yeah, yeah. And one of them had the right foot was like at almost 90 degrees bent to the outside. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Ballet foot. And I
Yes.
said, and to me, that was just like a horrible fault. And I said, what's with this? And he said, oh, she has an Irish foot.
Okay. Speaking of
Well,
Irish feet, how about Irish ears? Irish Terrier ears.
smooth, clean, very short,
Very short.
10
O-
blade, 10
Okay.
blade inside and out. Edge
Okay.
those ears, very
Okay.
edged.
Australian Terrier.
Australian Terrier ears are cleaned out in the back and to the base, but there is an overhang of uh, crown hair that sort of falls in front of the bottom of the ears.
Excellent. I got another really fun one. Dandy
Hit me.
Dinmont. Dandy Dinmont.
Oh, Dandy Dinmont, I have groomed a couple. I love the Dandy Dinmont Terrier that's pictured in Jody Murphy's book. It just makes me want one so bad. They have tasseled ears, and the tassels are at the point at which it just blends into the side of the face.
They're
It's
adorable.
so it's so cute, and it's just a little bit tricky because you want to get that. You don't want to come down too low, but you don't want to have these puffy tassels that don't blend in with the shape of the head. This dandy in the book is so adorable. Their eyes are just like, oh, give me one. And I know they're probably barking assholes at home, like like I found out with the Maltese.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
One of my favorite dogs in her book is the Brussels Griffon. So, how do you do a Brussels ears?
Now you might have me here. I know their head is kind of plucked full. I'm gonna say tipped.
Yeah, actually, they're completely cleaned off, base all the way out.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I see. I've
Okay.
never groomed one.
The
So
dog in here
that's
is so beautiful. Yeah, good job, though. So, tipped and edged and distinct. Definitely.
all right. Good. Good. All right. See,
Okay.
I'm human.
Yes. I think we pretty much got. Did we miss anything, anybody? We got
Well,
the Scotty already.
we could just say the another, um, oh God damn my brain. What are you going to do when I really come down with my Alzheimer's?
Oh, we'll just humor
What
you.
are you going to,
Just
what are you
let you
going to,
drink.
tasseled ears. The Bedlington Terrier also
Oh,
has tasseled ears,
yep, I've
and
got them
that
on there.
and the Bedlington Terrier ears, you make like a tip of like a diamond shape on the ear leather where you cut your, oh, it's so technical, little diamond shape, kind of a, you don't want a big ball. I love to do poodle, um, tassel ears on poodles, and then groom the tassel bottom to be like kind of like a ball, and then put puffs and bracelets on their feet, and a little round tail, and everything's just bobbing along. Oh, I love to do that. But the at the Bedlington Terrier, and you use a 40 blade if you dare.
They're
You
pretty cool
know,
looking ears.
they are. They're very cool. They're very technical, and they're very fun to. Would you believe that I chose to certify on a Bedlington? What? What was I thinking?
Yeah, what were you
No,
thinking? That's crazy.
well, I was thinking that I gave my schnauzer to my employee
Ah,
to do. He did the schnauzer, and then the only other long legged terrier I had at the moment was the Bedlington. So I did it. Hey, I passed. I passed well.
Okay.
Um,
I got a couple more.
okay.
You gotta tell me which is which though. Norfolk. How are the ears on the Norfolk Terrier?
Norfolk Terrier ears are cleaned off and they are drop
Yep, they're
ears.
folded. They're folded.
They're folded, and Norwich ears are cleaned off, but in the front, the the top of the head kind of covers them.
It's
The
not an
base.
actual tuft, but it does block the front of the
Yeah,
ear.
no, yeah, it's not from the ear hair. It's really from the face hair that that covers the base of the ear. So you pretty much clean them out real good and edge them.
Well, doggone it, you know your terriers, Barbara.
Hey, I do call myself a terrier specialist.
There you go. So,
And hey, I'm going to give you a little hardly known factoid about the Westie.
okay.
That's not about the ears, but this is one of these points that sometimes they throw at you in a certification written test, because they have to think up little dipshit stuff, right?
Right.
the the feet of the Westie, the front feet are actually larger than the rear feet. True.
I'm going to have to look at that. Just the
It's
Westies?
true. Yeah, well, I don't know. I haven't. That's the most prominent one that I've run into and kind of absorbed. And oh yeah, like you can pretty well, when you actually, I've never actually seen them look obviously larger, but
Well, now I'm going
but
to
they
look at
say
every
so.
single one. It'll be the first
let's
thing I
measure.
do.
Let's measure across the palm there, the palm of the foot. Yeah, right.
So, we had a question on the Facebook group about surfactants in ear cleaners, primarily cocamidopropylbutane in ear cleaners. So, how do you
What do
feel
they?
about that?
Well, I don't have much of a feeling. The reason that they're in there is to promote spreadability of the um, of the product. It's like one of the things a surfactant does is that it promotes spreadability, whether it's by way of a little foaminess or in the water. It allows the product to kind of move around and be applied to the ear. It also, they can cut the grease a bit because they have the oil loving end and the water loving end. So the surfactants can help to break up the oiliness of the ear. Didn't expect that. Didn't
Oh,
expect that. I think it's an okay thing.
okay. And it cuts the wax, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that's what
right.
cuts the wax.
It cuts the wax and oiliness. And not every ear cleaner uses a surfactant. Sometimes they use a solvent to cut the wax and the oiliness of the ear. But a lot of them do use, and it would be in a much reduced. It's not in the same amount or percentage that you would use in a shampoo, but it's used in a small amount, more of an ingredient that would go towards the bottom of the list rather than the top, right?
Right. Okay. So when you're cleaning ears, you're using a cotton pad, right? I'm still using a cotton ball. Either way is okay, I would think.
Yeah, either way's okay. What you want to be real careful of when you're cleaning ears is that you don't accidentally push debris down into the ear. When I learned to groom, I learned to put cotton balls in the ears before the bath, and actually, and this is another thing that the canine dermatologist pointed this out to us, that's a really bad idea because it just pokes debris further down into the ear canal and then just blocks it from coming back. Plus, more than once, I had a dog come back the next month with one or both ears having cotton. Oh, he just doesn't seem to be paying attention to me so much anymore.
That's what happens to me. I leave them in there.
Oh, I
Yeah.
think we fixed it. Oh, I had a fix it experience. Did I tell you about the stick fleas?
No, what's that?
Stick fleas are these parasites. They're kind of in between a flea and a tick, and they bite and then they kind of stand up on end. So they can, if they group together, they make a very rough surface. So I was grooming Lucy, the black cocker, giving her a total shave down, summer cut, and I got to her ears, and as I'm holding the edge of the ear to trim the edge, my thumb felt something really rough and scaly. I
Weird.
first detected this with my thumb, and then I looked, and holy guacamole, there was this colony. At first it looked like a scab or a sore or something wrong with the skin. But as I got out my magnifying, you can get these three times these magnifiers, 3x magnifiers, large with lights on them. They're at Ace Hardware now. And I have one of those that I got. I have one at home and one here. I looked at this scaly part real closely, and goddamn, it was a colony, a whole colony of stick fleas stuck
Ew.
on her ear. And see, the owner had been telling me the dog had been twice to the vet for ear medicine, and the
Go
dog was
figure.
rubbing her. And this guy sleeps with his dog, but he puts a sheet on top of his bed for her, and he's been waking up, and the sheet has been like got yellow debris in there and blood, and he couldn't, and she's itching her ears like crazy. Well, stick fleas itch like a bitch. They're
I've never
awful
even heard
itchy.
of them. We must not
You,
have them
you,
up here.
they come from birds, and they come under trees. They
Okay.
get them under trees in the yard, and they're very hard to see as singles, but I sure, and so I was hero because I identified why she wasn't responding to the ear cleaning and the
Yeah.
ear medication, because she didn't have anything wrong inside her ears.
It was
She
outside.
had stick fleas, and so she happened to have a vet visit the following day to do a dental, and they found more on her eyelid, on her eyebrows, and her, oh, I don't know, inner leg or something like that. So she's now on uh, heartworm, flea, tick medication, and feeling ever so much better. But I was hero. I solved the problem.
Good job. So I got
Yeah,
a
it was.
question.
Yeah,
Since we'd started this journey like 5 years ago, I have stopped pulling ear hair on most of the dogs. I only do it occasionally. But I've also stopped cleaning healthy ears.
yeah,
Am I
yeah.
right or wrong there?
You're actually right.
I
You're
figure, why
actually
should I
right.
mess with a healthy environment if I'm not
You know,
seeing anything that needs messing with?
yeah, no, that I've read that in a separate place, kind of. Not only do you not have to pluck the hair out, um, but it's a natural. You don't really need to clean the ears. It's a natural thing. What I do is I use mustache scissors and little teeny mini mini chromato. or whatever
Oh,
this thing
tiny
is.
trimmer, a little trimmer.
Wall Brav Mini. I
Yeah, okay.
use, yeah, I use this because it's not intimidating to the dogs, and I can clean out and kind of cut short the inside of the ears that way. So I that keeps it from, the job of the ear is to bring out the wax and the debris from inside the ear. So the more times you use cotton and you're cleaning and you're actually pushing debris down in there, and I definitely and so groomers raised their hands when the dermatologist laid that on us and said, well, what about getting water in the ears? And she says, well, most dogs will shake their head and get rid of that water.
Okay. Well,
So there you go.
but I
And if
do.
you think if you think you've got you've really gotten a lot of water down in that ear, you could clean out with an alcohol based ear cleaner. Alcohol will displace water,
Okay.
and
I
it will
do.
dry the ears out.
I do clean dirty ears. If they're dirty, I'll get the wax out, but nothing farther
Yeah,
than where I can see.
yeah,
Unless, yeah,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
all right. Well,
I do
good. I
that.
guess
I
I'm
do
on
that too.
track. Cool. I like it.
Oh yeah. Well,
And there's Marco, the star of our
that's
last
little.
live show. Oh, that's little.
This is little. Hey, we're at the shop, and she's looking through the hole. I have this perfect knot hole in the bottom fourth of my gate at the counter, and all the dogs just stick their nose in there. They
Oh,
look to see what's at the front door. See, it
that's
was the landlord walking back and forth.
oh.
Yeah,
He should stay in his
yeah,
shop.
yeah. He should.
All right, cool. Let's
Okay.
our last subject for today is carding. Did you expect that one, or did you not see that text either?
No, I actually expected that from before. No,
Okay,
from
good, perfect.
earlier, sooner. Yeah, we did
Okay,
card and I go.
I want to take a stroll down memory lane, Barbara, to when you very first learned about carding, because my first memories of carding, I was training from a lady who went to the Nash Academy in Lexington, and she was teaching me how to card with a 40 blade held in between my thumb and fingers. And I was pulling out fluffy undercoat of the then shaved, really short back of a schnauzer. And that's my first remembrance of using a carding tool. What was your first?
Oh God, Susie.
Okay, never mind.
I can't remember what I did yesterday, and you're asking me to remember back, like 50 years
Whoops.
ago. How did I learn? I um I actually I didn't learn. I I learned carding in doing double coated dogs, huskies and malamutes and yada yada yada. And we would card with rakes.
Okay.
Now, finer carding, I do a lot. I don't know how I learned it, and I didn't learn the term carding for the longest time. I mean, it's only been like the last 10 years that I've used that term carding. And I did my first experience with the term carding was when I had a 4-H lamb. And that was something that you did to prepare the lamb for a presentation at the 4-H show. But it was more like patting the hair all down to make it be uh, thick and uniform and not just fluffy.
Oh,
It
interesting.
was a little bit different. You used kind of the back side of a large, giant slicker brush to pack that back. Maybe
Wow.
we Maybe we slickered through it first. I don't remember that. But that was the term carding. I ran into that in 4-H. And it didn't catch up to me in dog grooming until maybe 10 years ago. And I used to call a terrier term muck out.
Right.
muck out the coat.
I think
Yeah,
that's one
muck
that comes
out.
over from England, the mucking out of the
Yeah,
coat.
the mucking out of the coat. And I use that a lot in my teaching and everything until this term carding became more universally accepted in our USA thing. And I use the back. I use a stripping knife, um, and I and the way that I card with the stripping knife is that I push it from the front of the dog to the back. So I will push like this, and then I can push down the leg, but by pushing it on a after this would be one of the latter things I did after I did some uh, either clipped it or hand stripped it. Then I would muck it out by carding with a stripping knife. And of course, we use rakes and stuff like that. And we use, um, oh, what do you call it?
The
Coat
stone
Kings. The
and the coat
stone is,
kings, yeah.
yeah,
Furminator. Yeah.
I occasionally use a Furminator, but I'm a little bit suspect of that because those blades, the Furminator is actually based on that way that you used the 40 blade.
Yeah, I
It's like
know.
a 40 blade in a weighted handle.
Not
But
my
what
favorite.
hap- Yeah, but what people don't recognize is that the Furminator or the 40 blade can really do a lot of damage to the top coat hairs, the primary hairs. Yes, it will muck out the fuzzy stuff underneath, which is what you want to do card, but it will also can really rough up the top hairs. And those hairs don't shed. Those hairs shed more like every 7 years rather than every day, every other day, like some coats seem to.
So I just
So,
got a
so
text
you know,
message from my second client who's tested positive out of my 150, 130 people that I have in my client base.
no.
I have two that have tested positive. This is the second one. She's at home. She has MS, so she's definitely a compromised person.
Oh, poor thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Oh, oh God. She
that was
must be
just a
scared.
public service notice there. Two
She must
clients.
be scared to death.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. So I'm going to call her
Whew.
after we're done here. Okay, back to carding. So let's describe some of the situations you would use carding. One of them is for me to kind of do whatever I can to keep a Clippard Terrier having some color in the back. Sometimes it helps a little bit, right? Or am I
Oh yeah,
dreaming?
it can no. It can help a whole lot. It can help a whole lot because what happens when you clip is that over time the finer the finer undercoat hairs will monopolize the hair follicle, and they leave less room and less space for that fresh new fat hard primary hair to grow in. So the primary hairs all become anemic, so to speak. They lose color, they lose hardness, they just become more like undercoat themselves. So when you card and you really remove, it's like weeding the garden, and you remove a whole bunch of those weeds, you create uh, room in the hair follicles for a fresher primary hair to make its appearance.
Okay, I'm glad because I've been going under that premise for a while and it seemed to work with my Welsh Terriers. Now I don't have any, so I'm not really getting to use it.
Yeah, well, it's not the same as plucking and hand stripping, but it is helpful. And
Okay.
I do that. I especially do that on terriers that don't tolerate the hand stripping, where the people kind of want. They kind of want the results of hand stripping, but the dog doesn't want to go through the process. I don't force any dog that absolutely hates hand stripping. I'm not going to do it. It makes
Okay.
me cry,
Yeah.
makes me cry. So what I do for those is called a hybrid strip. And the largest part of a hybrid strip or a partial strip is to card out the coat really thoroughly. Um, you
All right.
know,
Another place that I've learned to use carding is when I have clipper lines. Sometimes if I card the clipper lines, they will come away. I don't know what, it pulls the tiny fuzz out of there and it lays
yeah,
down better.
yeah. The
Yep.
other thing that I do for clipper lines is I use my half moon comb on the fine side, and I comb over the area. And the fine tooth comb does some of the same thing. It pulls out other hair to sort of more cover up your line.
Yeah, then maybe hit it with the blenders and it would just
Yeah.
disappear away like an eraser. That's a good idea. Then the other place that I often use the carding situation is on the shoulders and the hips of the golden retrievers that get so fluffy, and Irish
Yeah.
setters. Yeah, man, that really
Yeah.
helps.
Yeah, absolutely. And you would do that on the top line too. If you were serious for show, you would card out the top line of your sporting breeds. And definitely, that's one place where I really use the Furminator is on the shoulders where that fuzzy stuff just because it's all by itself sitting there. You just got to get rid of it.
My favorite tool is a classic stripping knife because I can hold the handle, I can
I,
wrap it, and I've
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and it has that fat blade. The classic stripping knife has a nice fat blade where you can just put your thumb right on the blade.
It's
I
easier
like
for
that
my
too.
hands. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys who, in case you've ever wanted to see the creepy hand, there's the creepy hand with the big lump on it and my fingers that are bending all the wrong directions. And yeah, here it is. Such exciting views. What are you digging for?
Oh,
This
I was looking to see if I had and I don't. I don't seem to have that.
I do out in the
Yeah.
trailer, but I'm not going to put you on hold
No,
and run
we're
out there to get it
never.
because we have 14 people watching us right now. So
Hey, thank you so much for taking your time to watch us have fun.
So the other thing we didn't really talk about is the stripping stones, and I can totally lame with the stripping stones, but they work pretty good on the fuzz area too, don't they?
Well, I'll tell you and just what do you mean by stripping stone? Do you mean the little stones with a handle?
The one that looks like pumice, not the little one with the
Well,
handle. I've seen the
okay,
one with
so
the handle, but I've
stripping,
never used
yeah,
one.
listen, we have these homemade, I make these homemade stripping stones. I take a uh, horse grooming block that's like a large block of lava stone, um, and it's soft enough that you can cut it into pieces. I cut a long piece of that and I wrap it, and then I go outside on my concrete building where it's got the bricks in there, and I rub it the top of it to get round the edges, and then we do a lot of stripping with that tool. I wonder if I have one.
Does it crumble when you're using it?
No.
Okay. I just have never gotten the
I
hang of
mean,
it.
you can use a pumice stone from the hardware store, or
Bed
the
Bath
kind
and
of.
Beyond.
Oh, you don't have to go there. You probably pay a fortune.
Yeah,
Go
you're probably right.
go to the dollar store and get a.
I dream about
Uh,
going to the dollar store. There's people at the dollar store. I can't go in there. I did go grocery shopping last week. I got all dressed up and went in there and did a big shop. Today I have to get toilet paper because I'm down to 2 rolls of Costco toilet paper. And I'm afraid. I'm afraid. So
wow.
I'm crossing my fingers that is some there because there is still no toilet paper at my local store. No toilet paper, no vinegar, no alcohol. I need another gallon of vinegar. I'm out of that. Luckily, I'm not grooming, so it's not that big a deal. But when is it gonna restock? It's so weird that we don't have
Well,
toilet paper.
I stopped at Ace Hardware today. It was busy. I stopped at Ace Hardware, and one of the things that I noticed is that Teresa, she's kind of the manager and cashier. They built her a large plastic shield uh, that fits on her counter. That's about 3 feet high, that you look through to talk to her.
I've
Isn't
seen
that
a lot
cool?
of that. Yeah, I've seen a lot of
Yeah,
that.
that's that's really good. So then she's not wearing a mask, but
Yes,
behind
behind a
this
mask.
shield. And then as I stopped, and then as I left, I saw this guy bringing large boxes. And when I looked at his vehicle, it was cleaning supplies. I think it was like cases of paper towels. So, everybody's working to restock. It's going to happen, and sometimes it's just a matter of timing. You have to get there right when the delivery, right when they're put on the shelves, actually,
Well,
and you
I'm
don't know. You
hoping.
can go,
Yeah.
and the dollar store is very much that way. They just like sell out of stuff almost in 10 minutes. So you can go in the morning and they've got it, and in the afternoon they don't. And sometimes if you act real nice and kind of old, they'll go in the back and they've got a stash, and
Oh.
they'll bring you out a couple of
Well, I'm
rolls.
a little particular about my toilet tissue. I would prefer to have the Costco toilet tissue or the Charmin toilet tissue. All they had at the last store that I was in, which was a drugstore, was like the basic toilet tissue, and it was
I
expensive and it
can't.
was the worst.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
I cannot
sandpaper.
stand. Well, I just have huge issues with thin toilet paper.
Oh,
I just like, I just hate to give myself the finger, like, not at work, please.
okay. So apparently Fred Meyer might have some vinegar, so that's good. Go
I,
right when they. You know why I don't want to go right when they open? It's because it's very
why?
difficult to keep the 6 foot barrier when you are forced to stand in line and they're only letting a few people in at a time, and everybody's pushing in your space, and
Uh,
I'm trying
you
to
just
avoid
have
that.
you just
But
have to become a policeman. Back
yeah,
off,
well, did you see the
back
dress I
off.
posted? The big, the Southern Belle dress with the big hoop skirt on it. That's what we're all going to
No,
be wearing is those big hoop skirts to keep everybody away.
that's funny.
I know.
Hey,
We
how are we doing? I've got 10% battery remaining.
okay. I think we're done. We've covered all the subjects anyway, so I think we can call it a show, as I'm off to say. Anyway, yeah, and I'm going to go get in that Costco line and cross my fingers that I can get some kitty litter and perhaps a gallon. Maybe I can get a gallon of vinegar there. You never know.
Oh yeah, kid, and I got a gallon of vinegar at Home Depot the other day. It was called cleaning vinegar.
That's a possibility too, since
Who
that's
knew?
basically
Who
what I'm
knew?
using it for.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. Oh, that
Yeah.
that would be me.
Yep.
I'm
Yeah.
not
Well,
using it to make a salad.
no, me either. I'm just putting it in my absorber towels bin so that they're staying
Well,
fresh.
I'm using it a lot as a rinse,
Ah,
as a final rinse on my terriers. Boy, they come out so nice.
yeah, very good.
It's a
I
thought.
enjoy
It's
it.
a thought. Anyway, that's another subject. The
Okay,
uses of
and I know I probably
um,
shouldn't do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. You guys, show season has hand sanitizer. Let's blow them out of the water with us requesting their hand sanitizer because it's good stuff. All right, cool, Barbara.
okay,
Hey,
good.
let's
Uh,
meet here next Sunday, not Tuesday. We'll meet on Sunday and do our
I'll
usual
be
thing.
here.
All right, cool. Thanks, you guys, for being here with us. We appreciate it very much. We like doing this live thing. We're going to probably do more live things in the future. As you can tell, we've been stepping it up a little bit lately. So, there, stay safe and healthy. Be well. Happy grooming, even though we're not grooming. See you next week on the Groom Pod. Bye, everybody.
Bye now. Take care of yourselves, please.